So it was 20 years ago today, May 30th, 2005, that Oasis released this album, Don't Believe the Truth, which at the time was considered a comeback album. Now I've actually reviewed this album technically twice on this channel, so if you look far enough back you'll find two reviews of this one, a really old one and another older one, but not as old as the original one. Anyway, basically since this album's 20, I only found this out the other day because I was talking to Angus Walsh, hello Angus if you're watching, on Instagram, and he pointed out this album was 20, and to be honest I completely forgot, and when he pointed it out I was like, oh yeah, it is, it's 20, isn't it, 2005, which makes me feel old because I can't remember this album coming out, because 2005, how old was I? I'll be 7. Yeah, 7 in 2005, so I can remember 2005, but I wasn't paying attention to Oasis at that point. But it doesn't feel that long ago, 2005, and here we are, 20 years ago, 20 years on, talking about this album. Anyway, what we're going to talk about a little bit here today is why is this considered a comeback album? What made this a comeback album? Because I think this is a great album. Last year I I ranked all of Oasis albums, and this one, spoilers, came 4th on my list, beaten only by Dig Out Your Soul and an obvious 2 from back in the 90s. So why do I love this album so much? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit here today. I'm going to explore it a little bit. So yeah, when this album came out, a lot of critics called this a comeback album. This was the first good album, like truly great album they had done since 1995's Morning Glory. So it'd been 10 years really of kind of just middle of the road music from Oasis. Now this isn't a view I agree with. I personally think there's some great stuff on Shoulder of Giants and Heath and Chemistry. Be Here Now's got its moments, but I don't think Be Here Now is a great album. Shoulder of Giants improves on Be Here Now. It's quite cool how it's a little bit more experimental. Heath and Chemistry is a step in the right direction, but this is where Oasis finally got back in the game. And it's also the first album, like proper album they've done, which is a proper band album. This is something Noel likes about this album, because up until this point it had always been Noel-dominated Oasis albums. Heath and Chemistry kind of started to delegate the music out a lot more, but not quite to the same level as this one. There's 11 tracks on here, and I'm pretty sure, from memory, only 5 of them are written by Noel, which, you know, is kind of unheard of up until this point. Everything else in this album is either written by Liam, Gem and Andy. So it's much more of a band album. There's all the members are now contributing equally. It's not as Noel heavy, although Noel did do all the singles still. So yeah, that does give it this more bandy flavour, which I kind of think is this album's charm. It also helps with the next one, Dig Out Your Soul, although that's a story for another day. I do prefer Dig Out Your Soul to this album. But I feel that Dig Out Your Soul is more Noel heavy again. The way that one's structured as well, it's all very much Noel at the start and then the rest of the band tagged on at the end. Whereas this one is much more, it's not just Noel like first half and the other half the rest of the band, it's more evenly spread. So you'll have an Andy song, then a Noel song, then another Noel song, then a Gem song, and then another Noel song, then a Liam song, and a Liam song, and a Gem song, etc. It's spread more out evenly. So I'll give you a little bit about the background of this album now. So originally they started recording this in 2004, I think. It was just after Alan White had quit the band. And they originally were recording this album with Death in Vegas. And those sessions got scrapped. They didn't like what came from it. And they were kind of a bit directionless to begin with this. The Death in Vegas stuff, I think some of the stuff on this album did survive from those sessions. I've got a funny feeling. Oh, I'd be guessing though which ones survived. I should have checked this. I think maybe Mucky Fingers. No, Turn Up the Sun, sorry. Turn Up the Sun is definitely one of the ones that survived from the Death in Vegas sessions. But otherwise, it was kind of all just, they started again afresh, recorded new stuff. Zach Starkey was now in the band, and then Dave Sardy would produce this album. He would be brought on as producer late on in the sessions, and yeah, he would take it into the direction it would go, this album, and he would become a staple of Noel for about another 10 years. He would work with Noel on here. He would also produce Dig Out Your Soul. He produced Noel's first solo album, and he was supposed to produce Chasing Yesterday, but he stepped back from those sessions and Noel did it himself. So yeah, this is where Dave Sardy started working with the band. Now here's a little fact for you here. Originally the plan for this album was for Mucky Fingers to be the lead single off it, which would have been a very strange choice of lead single, because it was, obviously it's a Noel penned song, but it's a Noel vocal as well. Up until this point, all the lead singles at least had always been Liam on vocal, and the idea of having the secondary singer doing the lead single for the album would have been bizarre. And the record label pushed Noel to say that there's not really any big singles on this album, and that's when Lila came along, because Noel had demoed Lila, but it wasn't originally going on the album. It wasn't until the record label heard the demo where they pushed him to get it on the album. And I think, if memory serves me right, Noel wasn't overly keen on it at first. It wasn't until the band actually recorded it where Noel fell in love with the song. Obviously the reunion tour hasn't started yet, but I will put money on Lila being in the set list, because Noel has said on numerous occasions since Oasis split up that of all the songs that he misses playing live that he could play with Oasis, Lila is the one he misses playing the most. So yeah, I imagine that'll go in the set. Anyway, yes, speaking of the singles, I'll quickly show you these. I do actually own all the singles from this album, so here you go. This is a 7-inch Lila. I don't think I've ever shown these. I maybe haven't, I'm just forgetting, but there you go. So that's Lila. Then the second single off the album, it was this one, The Importance of Being Idle. I've probably shown this one before. I love that artwork. The Importance of Being Idle is one of my favourite Oasis songs. I love it. And then the final single, this is on a 10-inch, this one, is this one, Let There Be Love, with its B-side, Sitting Here in Silence on My Own. It's not in the best condition, this single. Yeah, it's a bit, it looks like it's like coffee or something spilled on it, but yeah, so they were the 3 singles from this album, all Noel Penn singles, but there's some great stuff on here as well, like Turn Up the Sun, the opening track from Andy Bell, that's brilliant. What else we got? Guess God Thinks I'm Able from Liam, that's fantastic. Keep the Dream Alive is one of my favourite songs on this album at the minute. That one was written by Andy as well, I think, so there's some great stuff on here. But was this a comeback album? Well, I would say yes, in some ways it was. This is the first truly great album that they had made since 95's Morning Glory. The stuff in between that, like I say, it had been alright for the most part, but nothing truly great. Thankfully here the wheels came back on, they got themselves back in the game with this album, and it's a truly great album, as is the one that comes after this one, Dig Out Your Soul. But like I say, I've already reviewed this album, so I don't want to go on here forever more rambling on about it, because I've done that enough in the past. But let me know, 20 years on, what do you think of this album? Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you don't like it, why don't you like it? Please do explain, I'd be very interested to hear that. And yeah, that's all I've got to say for now. That's 3 Oasis videos I've done on the trot here. Yeah, getting excited now for the tour coming up soon. Hope everyone's getting to go along if you wanted to. I'm going to 2 nights on the tour. I might get a 3rd yet, who knows. So yeah, maybe see some people in London, Edinburgh, where I'll be. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on a future video. But for now, ta-da. Don't believe the truth.